Hey YouTube, welcome back to Chronicles with Karla and join me on my journey of homelessness and dedicating myself to YouTube now to hopefully get out of homelessness. As you can see from the title of my video, I titled it Losing Faith. And I think it's very appropriate for what I'm going through right now. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. My mind was racing, my heart was racing. I couldn't go to sleep. And I just felt completely hopeless and scared because my situation seems to be getting worse and worse. And I've run out of options and I really don't know what to do. And I'm trying so hard to keep it together. And all I know to do is to just pray and cry and hope and do my best on my end to keep my spirits up. That I am isolated, living day to day in hotels, but at any given moment, if donations stop, I'm gonna have to sleep outside. It's a miracle I've been able to have a roof over my head this long. If you don't know my story, I highly encourage you to watch the last 2 videos that I have on here on my channel to help better explain my situation. I come from narcissistic family and parents. I always knew that there was something different about me, and I always knew that there was something wrong with my environment and everything. I always felt different. And I have been through so many layers of trauma, not just with family, but with trusted friends, with trusted partners, etc., etc. I have been through many, many layers of abuse in every way that you can think of. And it's been really, really scary. And the after effects, once you leave those environments, can take a really long time to heal from as well. And that's kind of what I'm going through. I never thought in a million years that I would be homeless. And when I say homeless, I mean I don't have my own place. Not yet. And I primarily have been getting donations off of TikTok, which is my first and biggest platform that I have, because for some reason this year, TikTok stopped paying me. It didn't push my videos in the algorithm, etc., etc. I explained that, like I said, a little more in my last 2 videos. I literally live off of a prayer. I'm living on a prayer every day. Because, like I said, at any given moment, if donations stop coming my way, I'm going to have to sleep outside because all the shelters in this city are completely booked or I don't fit the requirements. And I've called every single church you can think of. I've called all the resources. I've done it all. I've been isolated. I barely have enough every day, barely, for shelter, for food. So I don't eat the healthiest all the time. I try to be disciplined, but with so much stress and so much going on, it's really hard for me to be disciplined in every area because I'm trying my best already. And I'm by myself doing it with no physical friends, no community, no family, no nothing. And have yet to find a safe environment for me to sleep and for me to rest and for me to build. I'm at a really weird place with my faith. And it's really, really grieving. Because I feel so abandoned by God. I feel really mad. I feel really resentful. I just feel like I'm a really good person. I'm not perfect, but I've always had a really good heart, and I've always been targeted my entire life. And no matter what came my way, I was always very joyful and happy and full of hope and faith, and I wasn't raised a Christian. But there were so many times that I could have lost my life. And for some reason, my life was spared. And I don't understand. And I never lost faith. And then I thought maybe finally, after years and years and years of crying out and hoping that things would get better, finally I got an opportunity to leave my toxic home and city that I was born in. And I thought that finally I got my big break, right? I became a Christian in 2018, and I was a part of different churches. And after my initial church home, I left there because it closed down, and I joined other ministries and other churches. I've been a part of countless denominations. I have been a part of ministries, like be active and played a role in them. I've read the Bible, I have fasted, I have prayed. All the things that I thought I had to do to be a good Christian, to be a good Christian girl and make God proud of me. And I was heavily indoctrinated with what most people are taught nowadays. And it's basically this narcissistic religious doctrine of how to be perfect and how to keep you in control. And if you do one slight thing of disobedience, God's going to get mad at you and you're going to pay the consequences. And I grew up in a very abusive home with those same roots, with those same mentalities. And then I go into Christianity thinking it was going to be better. And no matter what church, what denomination, what I chose to watch, it was the same root. And so I was never able to really heal mentally or go to a therapist or do what I had to do. And now that brings me to my situation. Like I said, I discussed in my other two videos, I explain in depth what brought me to this point of homelessness. But it started off me leaving a toxic environment, and I finally thought, okay, I'm going to get my big break. And year after year after year since 2021, it's been nothing but struggle. And so many people, like deep struggle, and all of those suppressed emotions and traumas coming to the surface. And with that, also for the first time, genuinely being sick, because I spent years suppressing my immune system because I was in flight or fight. So now I'm unable to suppress things. And it's just been so overwhelming, to say the least. I can't even explain to y'all. I would spend 3 hours at least explaining everything that I've been through the last 3 years. And I have tried since the beginning of last year. I've stayed in shelters. I went back to my abusers twice. I've stayed on people's couches. I've tried to stay with random people that I met off of Facebook or TikTok. And I've gotten myself into so many worse situations. And even though there was a silver lining and I saw, something good somewhat come out of it, I was still left with consistent instability. And all I could do is cry. In the end of last year, I started to become even more vulnerable on my TikTok platform. And I started to talk about essentially what brought me to this point. I was more open and candid about, my financial struggles, my mental struggles, everything. And crazy enough, I started to get paid off of TikTok. So I was so happy. I was so glad. I was like, finally, maybe this is my purpose. And it lasted a couple of months, and at the same time, donations were coming in. And it was enough donations to last me enough to book for a hotel for maybe a whole week and to get some food. And it was a little bit consistent for maybe 2 months. And then afterwards, it started to become inconsistent, and I was more reliant on what I was making online. And there would always be issues that would pop up at the hotels. My idea was I'm going to stay somewhere for a whole month if I can, right? But like I said, I never had enough to make that down payment of being able to pay up front for a whole month. So I would at the most be able to afford like a week at a time. And as hard as I tried to stay somewhere, something would always pop up. Either mold issues that I was exposed to that I'm sensitive to, so like I would obviously react to it. It would be bed bugs, it would be roaches, it would be horrible staff, it would be them taking money from me and overcharging me constantly, like everything, or me feeling endangered because right now, obviously, I am homeless by myself. So it would be one thing after another after another. So it would push me and nudge me to constantly relocate. So that's been my story. And I don't have a car. I haven't had a car since 2022 for various reasons. So I tried to apply at home jobs, and then because I had to move around, or because of the inconsistency or the loud noises or different things of hotels, it would interrupt my schedule. I was starting to get really, really, really sick most days because my nervous system was finally learning how to calm down because I was by myself in a safe environment somewhat most of the time. So I would randomly have panic attacks. I would randomly start getting really sick. All of those factors, plus having to move around and the unpredictability of everything, it really took a toll on my ability to be consistent with my work from home stuff. I try to get jobs that were walking distance. Same thing, if I had to relocate because they did stuff to me and things were going bad, I had no way of continuously being able to work. It was one thing or another. And I prayed about it and I said, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, Lord? And I just kept praying about it, and God kept telling me, just focus on your social media. Do not work a 9-to-5 right now. And it took everything out of me, but I was like, okay. So I continued on. This year comes in. From January 1st, I was in the emergency room because of health-related issues that came out of nowhere. My body this entire year has been screaming at me, and I have tried to apply for insurance and have gotten denied many times. Haven't been able to get a job, so I haven't been able to consistently think or feel confident that I'm going to be able to afford medical insurance. And every time I was quoted, it was at least $300 or $400 that I don't have. When I went to the ER, I tried to apply for insurance through there, and they never came back to me, never let me know anything. I called back, the whole 9 yards. Everything you can think of, I've more than likely have tried. I knew that God had spoken to me that my season of shelters were over since the beginning of last year. But this year I tried still to get into them, and still no luck. So I knew at that point, okay, I feel like this is God confirming to me over and over again that that's no longer an option. And like I said, I went back to my abusers twice, and the last time was this past February. I don't know what happened after they stopped making TikTok available on the App Store and then they put it back on again. But ever since then, they stopped pushing my videos on the algorithm. And since maybe April, I stopped getting paid. And even then, it wasn't livable, right? It was just struggle after struggle after struggle. I've tried to apply for apartments. I've tried to apply for cars, and they tell me the same thing. They tell me that I need a good credit, a big down payment, or I need a cosigner or check stubs, which obviously I don't have. And this entire year, a lot of people have been struggling with their health, with their mental health, with their emotional health, with their spiritual well-being, including myself. I have had a lot of health scares this entire year. And I'm at the point where I can't afford to go to a primary doctor because I can't pay out of pocket. I've been rejected from unemployment. I've been rejected from being able to get medical insurance. And yet I'm constantly getting sick. This whole entire year, my body has been purging and going through it. And I've gone to the hospital multiple times this year. And they keep dismissing me and keep telling me it's something basic, but I know in my heart that there's something wrong. And God has revealed to me during times of prayer, fasting, whatever it is, right? During meditation, I've gotten downloads and revelation of what could be going on with me. And again, it all boils down to what you eat. But because of my expenses and me being able to barely afford things sometimes, I'm unable to make the healthiest choices for my body at times. And there's been moments where, like recently, where I've been so discouraged. I've been just believing, I'm like, God, when are you going to come through for me? What's going on? I don't understand. And every time I've seeked after you or sought after you, you keep telling me to be still. But I'm enduring and I'm suffering so bad. And then I'm going through things with my health and I'm by myself. It is so scary. It is the scariest thing ever because I hate hospitals. I hate doctors. I hate going through that, you know? And I don't know, guys. It's been a few months since I've applied at jobs because I just felt really strong in my spirit, like, hey, you've done enough. I have tried for a full year to try to apply at every, not hospital, every hotel that I'm at, that I'm staying at. And ask them, hey, are y'all hiring? Hey, I'm willing to work any position. Hey, X, Y, and Z. As long as I could stay here, I'm willing to work. And I've been rejected over and over again. I left my hometown, but I'm in a city that I believe God really wants me to be in. I feel it in my soul that I'm meant to be here right now until further notice. Unless a really great, genuine opportunity pops up somewhere else and I feel peace about it, then I'll go. But till then, I feel like my spirit is telling me, my gut is telling me to stay here. And it's really hard. I have no family. All of them are in a different country. I don't have my passport. And I just know that that's not where I'm meant to be. I haven't talked to them in over 10 years. It's really hard out here, you guys. When you are barely making it, plus you're sick, and you can barely feed yourself anything healthy, and you're going through mental issues because of that. You're going through emotional issues because of that. You're questioning your faith. You're questioning your beliefs. I've been deconstructing since last year of certain deceiving things within Christianity or within my own faith or within the things that I've been taught, that I've been corrected that weren't true. It's been a lot, you guys. And at the same time, I see people struggling with this as well. I've lost my spark. I've lost my spark, and I hate to say it, but I see it in myself every day. I've lost my spark of life. I've lost my excitement. All I want to do is cry and sleep and isolate, because every door I have knocked on has not opened. And there's a part of me that's glad, because I didn't want those doors to open either way, but I was willing to go through those doors and start somewhere. And every time I pray about it, all I keep sensing or feeling or hearing at times is, be still, just be still, just be still. And it's been driving me crazy, because I feel like I have no control over my life, except for how I react towards it, how I perceive it. And with these health scares and everything happening more frequently lately, the last few months, it's been absolutely terrifying. And sometimes I'll be eating pretty healthy and I'll be feeling fine, even if I slip up or eat anything unhealthy for maybe 2-3 weeks. I'll be fine, and then out of nowhere I'll be feeling bad again. Ever since the middle of October, I've been sick with COVID, or just sick with these random flu-like symptoms and like great fatigue, back to back to back, like 4 or 5 times. It's been awful. And I know it's due to the fact of like circulation and different things, but it's like sometimes I get so depressed because I don't know what to do, and I'm literally living off of a prayer every day, that I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to work out today. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And then it starts building and building and building and building. At this point, you guys, I really don't know what to do, and this is why YouTube is now becoming my outlet, now becoming a place where I get to talk vulnerably, raw, and just document things. I don't even know how to edit. Like, this is straight from my camera, literally. I don't know how to edit, and I have to figure that out, but my mental health and my exhaustion and my tiredness has been over the roof, through the roof, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know, you guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. At this point, I'm really slipping more and more and losing faith that God's ever going to come through for me. And I hate saying that. I hate thinking that. But I don't know what else to do. I'm scared because of my health. I can't afford a doctor at the moment. I can barely afford eating healthy. I'm alone. I'm living day to day. And it can't get any worse. And at this point, you know, my social media has stopped paying me. I stopped receiving engagement like that. People have been really cruel on there. I mean, it's been really hard. And I can't help but think to myself, like, how can a good God that I've been faithful to, and I've been faithful to my journey, been faithful to honoring my truth and my discernment and following my spirit and intuition in everything that I do, why has it not paid off? And it's been years. years that I have not been able to be stable. And when I thought I was finally going to have it, I ended up having mold. Really bad mold. And it really sucks, you guys. It really freaking sucks. To feel like you don't have control over your body, over your life, and you're by yourself. I've been thinking about starting a GoFundMe again. I did it last year, but it didn't succeed. I don't know. I'm just going to keep posting and keep having faith that this is going to work out on YouTube. I don't know how. And I'm going to continue to put in my caption ways to donate. And just start fresh on here. Vulnerable and all. In my dirty pajamas that I wear every day. In my greasy hair. Feeling sick. No makeup and all. Just raw. I feel like I was so intimidated for a long time to not do YouTube because it just seemed like on here everyone is so manicured and perfect, and it's not like TikTok, and I didn't want to do this, but I gotta keep trying. And I just really, really, really pray. All I pray is that even though I can't afford going to a doctor right now, I'm praying that very soon, any day now, I will. And I really pray that any day now, very soon, I'll be able to make income off YouTube and anything else that I desire. Because 9 to 5s, I would have to get really stable for me to be able to do that. And I haven't had the opportunity yet. And I know it's not for me anymore, but I'm willing to do it if I have to again. But until any of that sorts itself out, I'm going to be sharing my story. I pray y'all have a good night. If y'all can donate in any way, I'd really appreciate it. If not, just please keep me in your prayers for my health. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm scared about. And follow along with me.